Hello everyone and welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, March 10th, 2017 and this is episode 9. My name is Carol and you can find me as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry. Show notes for this and every episode can be found on the blog at astitchintimepodcast.blogspot.ca. You can also find a link to the podcast and the show notes in the Ravelry group, which can be found by searching A Stitch in Time podcast under the Groups tab. Thank you to everyone who's reached out to me this week. I've had some really nice conversations with several viewers. Thanks for taking the time to get in touch. That's been the most rewarding part of this whole experience, is just the new people that I've met, if not in real life, then via the interwebs, and that it's very rewarding. I had a really neat surprise just before I recorded. I was on Ravelry and saw we had a new member in the Ravelry group, so I do what I often do and click on the Ravatar and take a look at the person, see where they're from, and take a look at what their projects are. And I was very surprised to see that this person was actually from the same place that I live. And upon further investigation, I discovered I actually know her in real life. Barbie5, also known as Barb, was a customer at the yarn shop I used to work at. She came in quite regularly, and she probably doesn't realize this, but she's one of the people who really inspired me to knit socks. We used to have these conversations that I was really not interested in knitting socks at that time, and she would come in and pick out one or two skeins of the self-patterning sock yarn, and I think I definitely know she's one of the people that kind of influenced me to give sock knitting a try. And if you have had a peek at my project page or watched any of these previous episodes of this podcast, you'll see that I knit socks pretty well all the time. It's become a real addiction for me. So thanks, Barb. Barb, I think you're the first person I know in real life that I know actually watches the podcast, which it makes me feel a little bit self-conscious, but I'm glad you're here, and I look forward to maybe chatting with you on Ravelry and catching up. I see you're a grandma now, just like me, so we've come a long way since those days. I think that was about 9 years ago that I left the shop, so lots has happened since then, I'm sure, in both our lives. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I'm actually on a little bit of a time crunch today. I wasn't sure that I was going to have a chance to record, and I expected to do it tomorrow, and now my day's been shortened to tomorrow, so I have about an hour, I think, before my husband gets home, so I'm going to try and get this out, make it fairly short and sweet, and see if I can beat him this time. So today's episode is going to include what I'm wearing, some finished projects, some works in progress, a blast from the past, what I'm reading, and a little bit about my week, which has been pretty good. Happy to report. So let's start with what am I wearing. This is called the Cheerful Cardigan, and it's by Anna Cohen. It's knit from Imperial Yarn Tracy in color 46 Quail. I think that the camera's capturing it fairly accurately. I would call it kind of a mushroom color, a taupey beige, grayish beige. It was a very interesting knit. I'm going to stand up so you can, or come closer so you can see. You start knitting this lace band, and it carries all the way across the back, and then around the other side, and comes up here. And then you pick up stitches along the edge of this band and knit out. You can see it's got like a mitered corner here leading up to the arm. And you do the same with the back. And then you pick up stitches all along the lace down here and knit down. And then you pick up around here, knit this band out. And then you pick up around the sleeves and knit your sleeve down from the armhole down. Now I believe it called for 3/4 length sleeves. I prefer a long sleeve, so I've lengthened it. And I believe the sleeves also called for like an edging like this rolled hem, but I preferred something flatter, so I put this sand stitch. That's what this little seed stitch type pattern is called. I put that along the edge, and then they don't roll up. I guess I can't remember if the bottom was supposed to have a rolled edge or not, but I just did the sand stitch there. I think that's actually what it was calling for. This is a cardigan I have worn a lot. I tend to prefer my cardigans with buttons or some kind of fastening, and I've knit a few now that actually don't fasten, and I don't like my fronts, kind of flapping around. I prefer them kind of tucked in. But this one lies really nicely, and I've worn it a lot. I've been very pleased with it. Now, I believe that there's some errata for this pattern, and I think it has to do with this part of the construction. I remember when I was making it, it seemed, I really blocked this area a lot in order to join the shoulder seams, and I think they've made some adjustments in numbers of stitches and such so that it actually will be less tight. It's a better fit through here. So I remember I started this, went gung-ho on the interesting part, and then I kind of, as often happens if you're watching for any length of time, you'll know I get kind of bored. So this sand stitch here, it's like a version of seed stitch. It was tedious and it was kind of boring, and the yarn does not have a lot of stretch to it, so it wasn't a really enjoyable knit. So I know I lagged behind for a while, and then finally just decided to get it done, picked it up again, and finished it pretty quickly after that. I knit it started it in May of 2015 and finished it in November, so that gives you some idea. Excuse me, just going to take a sip here. Just water today. I've kind of had enough tea. I ended up having this coffee drink yesterday afternoon, and that was a big mistake. I buzzed for hours and hours. I don't drink coffee as a rule, and the odd time I have like a flavored coffee, and I should know better because the caffeine really does get to me. Tea I can generally handle. So I have actually a finished project, or it's almost finished. Once it's blocked, I will consider it officially finished. Look away if you don't want to be spoiled. It is my snow melt shawl, Mystery Knit Along by Helen Stewart. I have finished all the knitting, and as I say, it just needs to be blocked out. So fair warning, if you don't want to see what it looks like, look away now. It's right here. Oops. So, yay, it's done. It's quite large, as you can see. Clue 1, as a recap, incorporated the 3 colors that was used in the shawl. This blue here is from the Simply Sock Yarn Company brand Post yarn, Cash Sock in the Pont Neuf colorway. This turquoise color here is Knit Pick Stroll Tonal in the Blue Yonder tonal colorway. And then the darker blue is Caper Sock by String Theory in the Laguna colorway. So this was clue 1. Clue 2, or this lace section. Clues 3 and 4 kind of did this section. Clue 5, the last clue, did this solid border, and then you put a little edging I-cord, a couple rows, and then an I-cord bind off of color A. So once again, just give you a look-see. So once my house is back to normal, which will be very soon, I'll have my washing machine back, and I'll give this a bit of a soak and a spin, And then I'll actually have room somewhere to lay it out to block. It's going to take a fair bit of space. So I was really happy to finish that, and I'm planning on casting on another shawl in the near future. I just haven't finalized which one that's going to be yet, so that should be coming up pretty soon. So as far as works in progress go, well, I have lots of socks going. You've seen some of them before, and one of them you haven't. I have 3 that are completely done, hence the name of the episode. Now, I'm not one who actually calls, a lot of people call a single sock a hoe, a half-finished object. I don't generally do that, but at the same time, I couldn't resist ho, ho, ho. So I'll talk about them one by one. This one I'm calling my bullfinch socks. The yarn is from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's their signature 4-ply and color 861 bullfinch. And then I've used color 99 for the same yarn in black for the heels and toes and cuffs, as you can see. So let me see a bit better against the shelf there. So yes, one down, and the other, I've got that much done. A couple of stripes and the cuff, so those are ready to go for, you know, watching TV, that kind of knitting. Don't have to pay a lot of attention. Going into Vancouver tomorrow, so this will be perfect for the car. So one down, one hoe. My next work in progress, or my next sock, is my birthday cake socks. This is a pattern I kind of have made up. I wanted, oh, that's a better color representation right there. I am knitting these for the Grocery Girls Sock Bash for March, and in that knit along, you kind of have to pick a pattern or a yarn, in some way make it connected to the month. So because my birthday's in March, I thought I would make myself some birthday socks. So this is Hedgehog Fibers sock. Here, I have the label here. Show you that. That is birthday cake. And at the same time I ordered it, I ordered this in the same yarn called, the colorway was called Monarch. Assuming like the butterfly. And I thought the colors looked really nice together. And then I had this inspiration to actually make birthday cake socks. So I found a pattern for a cross stitch chart online and kind of adapted it to make for the candles. And I found this, what do you call it, scalloped ribbed edge. I can't remember the actual name of it. I thought that would look kind of pretty at the top. It's just a 1x1 rib, and you slip every so many stitches for a few rows, and then that draws those areas down when you just start doing normal ribbing again. And I added a short row heel, and then I decided I wanted a pop of color on the toe as well. So there they are. And I was concerned, I started with 72 stitches, went down to 70, and normally I do a 64 stitch sock, so I was worried it might be too big in this section here, but the Hedgehog Fibers yarn is quite fine, and it actually has knit up just perfect. I wouldn't want them any smaller. So yeah, one sock down. And I just cast on the second one earlier today, so that's all I have left, or I'll have done, like 7 rows of ribbing. But I like to cast on my second socks fairly soon after my first, or else they tend to languish, so that's a good way for me to combat second sock syndrome. So there's my second. And then the third one, there you go. Actually, that color is very good there too. This one's called Xanthophyll. Xanthophyll refers to the something in leaves that turns them yellow in the fall. So I thought this was an appropriate kind of colorway to reflect the changing leaves in the fall. It's Koigu. I think I grabbed my tag. Yep. Koigu KPPPM. Don't forget that extra P. You have all these KPM, KPPM. So this is KPPPM. And the color number is P328. So I altered the pattern a little bit. I didn't start these little cable crosses until about an inch into it, so I have a little bit more stretch at the top of the legs. I like to have my legs fairly long. And this is by Hunter Hammerson, and she quite often extends the pattern somehow into the toes, and I've learned that I just prefer plain toe, so I tend to ignore that part of her patterns and just knit my own toe. And what I do like is she always carries this, the patterning of the sock into her heel flaps. You can see the little seed stitch, slip stitch section goes all the way down to the middle of the heel, and the ribbing, follows up. It's just really nice attention to detail. So yeah, I got that one done, and got my second one on that going too. So done the cuff and one pattern repeat. These are quite they're not too difficult, but you got to think a little more than a stockinette sock. So I've been really enjoying working on these. However, as much as I've enjoyed those socks, I've had this yarn staring at me all week. I actually had originally intended this yarn for those socks, but once I read the description of the sock name, I thought I needed some color that actually reflected that more. Plus I thought a lighter color would show off the cabling better. So I had wound this up. It's a Fleece Artist BFL sock in the Winter Sleep colorway, and that's actually fairly accurate. It's got some really nice tones, blues and greens, and a bit of browny gray, and a little bit of a later green. I just something about it, I just love it. So I couldn't resist anymore, and I cast it on last night. I searched long and hard for patterns, and I ended up with this one called Couplet by Bonnie Sennett, also known as Blue Peninsula. Now, you're not going to get a really good look at the socks, unfortunately, because the photocopy is not very good. But that's what it's called. There's the designer. And I had bought this pattern about 1.5 years ago, and it's been sitting in a stack of patterns to be knit for a while now. So I decided thought it would work well with this one. So I've actually worked on it quite a bit. Starts out with this 1x1 twisted rib, and then there's two options. You can add this lace section if you like, and then go into this textured section, or you can just start at the top and just go into the textured section. So I decided, since they were for me and it's kind of a lacy feminine pattern, I thought I would do them like this for me. But this is a pattern, and I don't knit many patterns twice, but this is one I can see doing for one of the men in my life. I don't think I'll be too bored with it too soon, but this is a great men's pattern. Nice texture, not difficult. You gotta pay attention, but it's not hard, and it's it's fairly obvious where you are. You don't have to, if this is a knit row in here or a purl row in here, the rest is really easy to follow. As you can see, it's consistent in this section all the way up. So yeah, these have been really fun actually to work on, and nice to have just a little something new after spending a week with all those other projects. So yeah, there we go, enjoying that. And speaking of socks, I forgot, I have some news. This week, or actually yesterday afternoon, I sat down and typed out my pattern for my Nelson cabin socks and put that pattern up on Ravelry. So it's available as a free download. So go and help yourselves. Just to refresh your memory, this is the Nelson cabin sock. It is a very simple, well, obviously a woman could wear it too, but I designed it with a man in mind. 1x1 rib here, and then it flows into an alternating 3x1 and 1x1 rib here. So a little more interesting than just a 2x2 rib sock. Makes you think a little bit more, you know, men's socks can be long and boring. I like it with this stripy yarn. This is Drops Fabble. Long print is called. Any fingering weight yarn would work, whether it be variegated, I think, or plain. I think this pattern is simple enough it would work in all sorts of yarns. But yeah, I'm happy to get that written up and out into the world. So go ahead, help yourself, download it if you want, and if you do happen to knit them, I'd love if you came by the Ravelry group and showed me a picture of them. I have one other sock pattern that I have up on Ravelry for free, and it's a real thrill to see them knit up in various yarns and see different people's interpretations. So so there you go. Exciting week for that. And a blast from the past. Well, actually what made me dig this out is knitting the snow melt shawl. I'd only once before that I can remember have knit a pie shawl. Well, in this case, the snow melt shawl is a half pie shawl because it's a semicircle. But years ago, when did I do this? Back in 2009, I was part of actually it was a mystery knit along too. It was called The Secret Garden Shawl by Janine. I don't know how you say her last name, Lacroix or Lacrosse, capital L-E, capital C-R-A-S. Anyway, this shawl was a pie shawl, a true pie shawl. And you know, it turned out beautifully. I knit it in the Unique Sheep Luxe, which is a wool and silk blend in the Green Man gradient. Like, look how gorgeous this is. Goes from green, beautiful emerald green. Oh, that color's hard to see against there. That's better. And then gradiates into this brown on the outer edge. And finished off with this picot. Oh, it's crochet. It was like a little crochet bind off. Picot, and it's got kind of, you can see kind of a purpley color in the last skein, the last little gradient skein to go with the brown. This was so fun to knit. I had never done a big circular shawl before. The sad thing is that this has been sitting in my drawer and I never wear it. This is not something I would wear out anyway. I don't tend to wear shawls other than as scarves. But I do have a number of shawls that I wear at home in the evenings or in the day when it's cool. And this is one I never pull out. So having finished the snow melt, I thought, gee, I wonder if I'll actually wear it. And then I thought, you know, I really should dig this one out and give it another go. And you know, I've actually worn it a number of times this week. I fold it to about this length so that it's, you know, maybe half as much. So I would do this and then I just wrap it around just like this. And it actually sits on my shoulders really well. And the front of it is not so long that it gets in the way if I'm sitting and knitting or reading or something. And it's warm. I don't know how many times I've actually taken it off again because it's gotten too warm. So I'm thrilled to actually be using this beautiful shawl after all these years. I don't know why I didn't before, and then I think it got put in the drawer and kind of forgotten. And this has just been a great find lately. That's one thing with this podcast, sort of thinking about what I might share with you has made me rediscover some of my knits, and that's a nice unexpected bonus from doing it. So I just love it. It's gorgeous. Makes me want to make another one. Not the same one, but another pie shawl. One day, maybe out of lace this time. We'll see. So what am I reading? I finished this week Partners in Crime by Agatha Christie. I've had this going for a few weeks now. Tommy and Tuppence have been asked to run this detective agency, actually as a front for attracting these particular real criminals. And in that experience, they've had some actual cases that have come their way. And in their office, they have a bookshelf full of a variety of classic detective stories. And so there's like different cases in here that are broken down into 1 or 2 chapters. So they're kind of like individual short stories that follow a timeline. So every time they get a new case, they kind of channel one of these fictional detectives or people from these stories that they have. And I confess that I don't know who most of them are. Sherlock Holmes, that's an obvious, but I'm just going to see when this book was actually published. 1929 originally. So these are detectives that or characters that I'm not familiar with. But I thought it was a really fun thing on Agatha Christie's part. In the very last chapter, she references her own detective, Hercule Poirot, and his handy assistant, Captain Hastings. So I just thought that was kind of a fun thing for her to do, is give her own detective a shout out in one of her own books. So that was a fun way to end it, I thought. I also got back to A Great Reckoning by Louise Penny this week, and I've read that a lot. I think I'm about 65% of the way through according to my Kindle, and that's been a really good story. They're all good. I haven't read one of her books that I haven't liked. This one involves a kind of a mysterious old map, and also the main character, Inspector, well, he's not Inspector anymore, but he was, anyway, Gamache, Armand Gamache is heading up the academy for the new police officers for Quebec, and a murder occurs in the academy. One of his old rivals, nemesis. So that's interesting. So far, I'm enjoying that a lot. A little bit about my week. I guess we're at that point in the podcast. Well, we have floors. As of this afternoon, we have new casings and baseboards. Backstory for those who aren't maybe new is we had a little flood in our basement just before Christmas. Did some renovations while everything was torn apart, and we're in the final stages of getting things back together. So it was supposed to have been done by yesterday. We had a delay with the flooring, which moved everything up about a week. So, but the end is definitely in sight. Have people coming back in Monday to fill the little nail holes and paint all the trim, and put the bathroom vanity in. The plumber's coming, next week, hook up the toilet and taps in the bathroom, put our washer and dryer back. We'll have been about 2.5 weeks without a washer and dryer. I knew we were going to be about a week and a half, and I prepared for that by making sure everything was clean before they came and moved everything out last Monday. But 2.5 weeks, can't quite manage that, so I was babysitting at my daughter's on Saturday, so I took some laundry over there, pardon me, to at least have clothes to last us through till next week. Sheets and towels I can set aside and do them when we get everything hooked back up again. But yes, I'm so anxious to see it all come to an end, have our house back, and not have workers in and out and all the stuff that goes along with that. I had thought I was going to be on my own tomorrow night. My husband was going to be working and then heading into Vancouver for a hockey game, Vancouver Canucks hockey game. He won it through work. They have a number of different promotions, and he was part of that. And so I was going to record tomorrow and then have all day to kind of get the video up and, edit it, etc., and have a quiet evening on my own. And then he got a call today there was a cancellation, and I was invited along myself. So that was a nice surprise. So tomorrow afternoon we'll drive into Vancouver and we go for dinner with the group and then watch the hockey game, and then they're putting everyone up in a hotel overnight too. So that should be fun. The Canucks have not done well this year. They've been calling it a rebuilding year. They started out very strong and first few games, and then they've kind of struggled since then, which is what was being predicted. So this is one of the last games of the season. I'm not sure when the last game is. It's against Pittsburgh Penguins, so pretty sure that's who it is. So that'll be fun. It's always fun to go see a sporting event in person, even if you're not totally into that sport. I don't follow hockey. I don't watch the games on TV and stuff. Unless the Canucks are in the playoffs, that's a different thing. Then you get on the bandwagon, but that's not this year. But anyway, it'll be fun. A nice little getaway, and so looking forward to that. I think that's about all that's going on in my life at this moment. So I expect I should be able to record, I'm hoping, by next Friday, as I usually do. St. Patrick's Day, I guess. Yeah, I guess other than having our work finished up in the house this week, or at least that's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm hoping by next week I can tell you that everything's done. I mean, we have a few things we have to do ourselves once everyone's come and gone, but we'll be on our time, and it'll be, we'll actually have a garage again that we can use. We haven't parked a car in there for years, but that is where I set up to do painting trim. In our one bedroom that wasn't affected by the flood, we replaced the flooring, but we have to put a little bit of trim around the bottom of the baseboards because we took out carpet, put in flatter flooring. So I'll have to be painting that little bit before it gets put up and stuff like that. A little touch up. I see some dings around where work people have dinged into our walls. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of patching and painting, but and put some shelves in the new closets, things like that. But the bulk of the work is done. The rest of the finishing is something we don't have to worry about right now, and so yeah, by next week it should be done. Just so excited about it. It's been almost 3 months by the time all is said and done, so it's been a long haul, and I'm looking forward to this phase of our lives being over. So I think that's it for this week. Have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Happy knitting.